All right, folks, welcome on back here this Wednesday, July 7th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check for all of us on social media. I believe we are good to go live inside the trading room. But as always, great to see William and Norman and Leda, Jean, Bonnie. We had the Michaels just before, Tim, all of our students and members alike inside Cyber Group. And like I said, for anyone on social media, that is Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. So, got to jump right into this XELA trade, one of many stocks we performed pretty well on throughout the day today. For myself, personally speaking, I mean, this is one of my better days out of the last month or so, month and a half, but it wasn't instant. It was tough to get within the first 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes after the market opened up. I didn't trade pre-market, so there were a couple of things that popped there that perhaps I could have jumped into if I wanted to. I didn't. So just point being, it took me a while to get the gears going. But man, for this XELA trade, this really was the brunt of my entire day. So, it goes to show, A, all it takes is one, and then B, otherwise. I was prepping this stock at 8:30 in the morning. For about the 5 or 6 of us, at least today. Normally there's more, but for the 5 or 6 that private chat me, private message me in the morning around 9 a.m. Eastern time when Fausto jumps on to do the morning meeting himself. For you folks asking me, hey, what are you looking at going into the market open today? I tend to give, 2 or 3 stocks, and really that's it. XELA was one of them. The XELA trade I ended up looking at as a potential bounce going into the market open off of 225 to 230. Could not have played out any better to my personal expectation to it. The only issue on it was that I wish I ended up, holding more shares throughout the course of the afternoon. I had 4,000 shares, but I ended up taking half off at 242, and then I took the second half out. I forgot where, like 253, 255. I missed this big, move up after. So I wish I could say I really killed it. But, the stock was cheap. It's a stock that we're really familiar with. It's not like a stock that we've never traded before or very rarely have. So just going back to yesterday's run up, it's to say that, I mean, hey, we had support from the chart at 220. We had resistance here around perhaps 230, which was one of the levels I was looking at. But based on level 4, and you could have even seen from level 3, the matrix here, at least if you were watching in the after hours yesterday. But, we ended up seeing a lot of volume traded in particular off of 225. So buying off of 230, but a lot of volume off 225. It led to an incredible bounce, right? So, of course, this ended up moving up a lot more compared to what I was initially expecting it to do. I thought there was a chance in which we could see this make a move up to 3, but I thought it would be, right now. So this ended up spiking up pretty quickly at first, building support off 270. I wish I could say I jumped in off 270. I did not. I was looking for it to dip lower towards 260, 255-ish, but clearly that's not happening now. At this point, the XELA trade just smooth sailing on the way up to 3 here. So what we'll do right away, I got to open up my notepad here, but we'll put this on our watch list to begin, the XELA trade. The issue on this stock, if there's even one at all, I mean, this is like level 1. It's cheap. Like, this is perfect. I got to double check on this, but I feel like the float's relatively low. This stock's been trading so much volume the last few days. So, it goes one of two ways. If the stars align and this could break out over 3, perhaps this could be, the next BLIN, the next MRIN, the stocks that went from like 5 to 25. Let's see here really fast. You got to look for this thing. Just trying to check the float on this XELA. I don't know if it's showing it here for me. Oh, there we go. Float. Geez, 5.39 million share float out of 59 million shares outstanding. That's like a pretty thin ratio too. Comparing it to some of the other stocks that are up on the gainer side here today, and that's just a small sample size. But it goes with two directions, up or down. I mean, the way this is building, the hope is to see this pop higher, make the move over 3, the 490,000 share order on the ESC sitting there in red. So, that's the hope. If it doesn't do that, then, you might see the stock begin to dump off later on today, perhaps later on in the after hours. So, I personally wouldn't look to swing trade it. If it ends up becoming the next MRIN and flies up, day over day over day, then I guess it's easy to say in hindsight that you could have, but we're day trading these. Either way, we're making money on them. So, the XELA easily we'll put on our list here to start. All right. You know what? I'll tell you. I just kind of do this anyway, right? Just because of class. I try not to. I try and do an official recap like Fausto does when he does the morning meeting. But really, we'll just start from the top. I got the NEGG trade, NEGG. Ended up breaking higher today, making this crazy parabolic move up. Ended up breaking out over 30. It was like practically as soon as the market opened up, it made that pop. But, it goes to show, it's a stock that didn't make our morning watch list. I think it was up enough, but, just too expensive at the time. But you know what? It's more level 5 stocks. So either way, regardless of the price, given the volatility, you're more likely to scale back on shares, probably trade a quarter of a position size or maybe at most a half. Myself, I didn't trade this. I was too occupied on a couple of other trades here from this morning. The XELA, I was kind of watching the grass grow at first, so I ended up missing this pop as I was watching my trade drop. But this ended up making this huge squeeze up. Goes to show even on a couple shares, just for fun, you could just try and play for fun on 1 or 2 shares, and that actually could pay off. But either way, whether it pays off or not in real money, it's the experience that you gain most importantly. But, for right now, this stock is so choppy. Is it possible it breaks higher? I guess, but I'm not really too interested in it right now. For as much as it ran up, the volume traded across the day today, just the writing is on the wall to see this either just chop around as it has been or just potentially pull back more. Pardon me there, water break. So the DTST trade, we ended up seeing this stock pull back as soon as the market opened up. It was up enough. So, that's where I say be careful on a stock that we normally don't trade, a stock otherwise that's more low float, thinly traded on level 3, the order book. I was looking at this just a moment ago as, unfortunately, I missed this trade from earlier today. For as much as it dropped, or rather at first, for as much as it ran up in the after hours and pre-market, and then for as much as it dumped off after the market opened up, it's going to bounce. So, kind of similar to the XELA that I took, this ended up bouncing pretty nicely, but more importantly, it led to a nice pop over 10, a couple of nice breaks over 10, where you could have went with the momentum even from that price up for just about 50 plus cents. So, I ended up missing both of those little moves up. Now, at this point, I was looking at it before the meeting started, and I was actually thinking, because today, and I normally don't have the chance to say this, this is like one of my best days ever, personally. And I'm blessed to have that. At this point, I'm still going to trade. And even if I take a couple losses, I know it's not going to hurt me otherwise. But I was looking at this just a moment ago, and I was saying to myself before I started this meeting, about 10 minutes before, I was like, ooh, do I jump in right now and show off a little bit? I think there's a good chance it could pop. Really, I thought that to myself. And I wouldn't have traded this on 1,000. I would have done 500 still, 500 shares. But I decided not to. Ended up squeezing around a little bit towards 1020, 1025. Just what I realized is what's happening now. It's an unnecessary trade. It already ended up making 2 squeezes up. Is it possible it makes another one and makes a bigger squeeze up towards perhaps 12, 1150, 12? Maybe tomorrow. Keep it in mind for tomorrow, perhaps, given the range. But you know what? At this point, I'm going to pass on it. Ended up making for a couple of nice bounces earlier today after the morning dump off. But yeah, I'm going to pass. ONCS ended up making a nice squeeze up earlier today, too. I was hopeful for a bounce on this trade from 350. I took my eyes off the stock, ended up breaking lower. I said, all right, that's it. Move on now, definitely. And then it ended up bouncing. So, ended up making a good, bounce roughly from around 335, I guess that is, 330-ish. Now it's up towards 370. So, perhaps I might get asked this on the YouTube stream otherwise. Is there a chance this could run back up to 4? I don't know. The thing on this trade, I guess, it seems like this has been like 2 full market days here looking at the 5-minute chart. It almost tripped me up for a second. It's not 2 full market days. This is the after hours. This is the pre-market. So this thing was really trading a lot of volume to show activity on the 5-minute chart that much early on in the morning. And then here's the market open pop. So I don't know. Given this pop here from the after hours, this ended up flash popping up towards as high as like 575. Is it possible it gets up there? Maybe a good side list stock to keep in mind. Maybe I'll come back to it at the end. right down on the side list there. OPNT, eesh, geez, thank God I'm not a part of this. Thank God no one in the trading room is part of this. I don't think this was even called out. So, and ended up making this squeeze up, right back down. Which leads me to BTU. So BTU ended up becoming one of the stars of today. I didn't even trade this up until the afternoon, like the early to mid-afternoon here even. Ended up taking like a 10-cent loss on the way up at first. Oh, give me a quick sec here. Ended up taking a 10-cent loss on the way up. I actually shorted it because I ended up missing this entire run. I had a pretty good feel at the time, given it was shortable, easy to borrow on TradeStation, that it would end up pulling back. So at first I took a 10-cent loss. I jumped back in on the trade later on here, though, and it paid off. I ended up getting like 26, 27 cents on it. So it ended up wiping out my loss and a little, some after. At the time on the short, I was hopeful to see this drop as low as like 955, 950, kind of weird where the VWAP's located right now. 963 now, it's like gradually moving up, but otherwise it hasn't really tanked yet. It's teasing this 10 pop. It's really 1005. Oops, pardon me. 1005 right here on the chart. I think level 4 showed an order just a moment ago. They may have moved up to 1010. But this isn't really tanking yet, right? It's been false kind of popping and chopping around 10. I took a 4-cent loss in my last trade here, and that was on the long side, expecting the breakout. So it goes to show I'm still pretty interested in the stock on the long side, and if not on the long, then still on the short. So, just presents a trade either way, up or down, regardless. So, we'll definitely put this on our list next to the XELA. All right, there we go. Michael talking about that short on BTU. He was in from 10 a couple of times just now. Basically got 25 cents collectively on 2 trades. Excellent. All right, so we keep it going. See what else we got. DBGI here, familiar name at this point. It's been like making these pops and drops. Nothing of substance, really. I guess you could say this was a pop here and a run, but dumped off after. This was a quick pop and drop that, a few days from there. I don't know. It's at the highs. Order book pretty thin. I'm going to pass on it for right now. All right, so here's XELA. You got the IC trade right below that, though. So the IC trade ended up fooling us earlier today. I know it got a couple of us on a false breakout. I can't type or anything there. There we go. So you could see this ended up false breaking 9 initially, and then, or actually even a second time later on here, but ended up making the clean pop later on where it broke over 9, ended up running just over like 35 cents up, pulled back. And more importantly, goes to show resistance became support where 9 held perfectly as a bottom, ended up moving right back on up. And, hey, again, it's pretty close to the highs right now heading into the afternoon. It seems like a lot of volume is traded off of $9.62 here, potentially from consolidation. Not necessarily an iceberg order in particular, but, based on the amount of volume filled off there, just look to see if there's an order that does pop up at this price. But otherwise, you got one here at 974, right near the HOD. So I guess we'll add this for right now, the IS trade, ISCE. All right, so we keep it going. What else do we got here? Jaguar is kind of a bust today. Jaguar Health, we've been following them for like the last 3 to 5 months, anywhere in between, probably more. Yeah, I mean, it's been longer than that, even like back from the end of last year, beginning of this year. But more or less, we're familiar with the stock. We were pretty excited to trade this going into the day today. We were hopeful for a really nice pop breakout. Clearly did not get that. It didn't even break down to 150, break under and over 150 or kiss it. Ended up hitting a low of the day at like 53 here. So, unless if you were really looking at 155 as the bounce level, then you weren't really getting that. So, it really didn't present much to us at all, unfortunately, this Jaguar trade. I would have expected 150 to be the penultimate bounce point. you know, unless if there was like some crazy print line that came out from the day before. I don't think that was the case, but either way, I'm rambling on. Let's keep it going, see what else we have here. You got not Sprint S. Not Sprint. It's a new ticker, a new IPO. We learned that last week, right? It's not Sprint. It's what is this? I don't even know the company name. I may as well get familiar with it. What is it? Sentinel One? Interesting. All right. New IPO, pretty expensive, thin order book either way. All right, I don't really see much on the gainers side otherwise, folks. I'll jump back to the chat boards in just a moment. I want to just go through the losers list pretty quickly, skim through it for the most part. BLIN. Oh, crap. Actually, let's see what happened here. It's on the way back down. I say that emphatically because I took my eyes off this stock earlier on today, and I have a level drawn out on my chart. Let me just jump back here. Not this chart, on my other platform that I have here. Let's see. I'll tell you, you can't see. I'll tell you, it's not really good television here. But I would say $8 major support. I did have a line right off of 825. Oh, that's right. I forgot I did take that trade. I actually forgot I did take that trade at first. I did jump in from 825, 830 was my price on a half-size position. That's what started my day off. But after that, I stepped away from it. I was expecting it to break much lower. So at this point now, it might be due for a bounce, not here, but you know, later on. If not later on today, perhaps watch for tomorrow morning. Given as much as it ran up, it dropped off, you know, today, and much more so, you know, overnight and the day before. So keep it in mind. Perhaps 8 will be that ultimate bounce level on this trade for the BLIN stock. BSQR bounced nicely from 5. I missed out on this. This was a great trade. It ended up essentially making the slingshot from 5 at first. You know, it wasn't the perfect move right off the bat. It took a few minutes, but you know, it went from 5 up to 560. You can't complain on that, right? All right, MRIN, BLIN, MRIN here. Leads, LEDS. I think they had earnings back from yesterday morning. I guess not really too good earnings, but you know, we'll pass on them. Torchlight, otherwise MMAT, down to 6. I guess that could be some sort of squeeze play. I don't know. Not really too interested. All right, I think that just about does it, folks. I got really. Oh, actually, well, I got one more here, I guess. I don't know what the chart's going to look like, but I see Sorrento down another 13%. Really, to go over this stock really quick, it's not even from right now because this looks like garbage, but I'll tell you what looks like garbage, or what ultimately looked like garbage. It was this trade from the afternoon, right? I put this on our watch list given the pop-up. There was news that came out at the time. I think one of our YouTube attendees, maybe Mitch, ended up pointing this out. But, you know, it was a great trade at the time of the pop, right? Well, if it ends up completely dumping back down right away after, and if it breaks right down below support, that's not good. You got to move on from that stock pretty quick. So, you know, just a little food for thought for anyone that's new joining our streams, YouTube stream, Facebook Live. You know, just because we put a stock on our, you know, afternoon list, morning list, doesn't mean to buy it right out the gate. Just because news came out, which, you know, news came out on this stock, that's the reason why it popped and why we put it on our list ultimately. You know, doesn't mean it's going to continue to move up. Look what, you know, happened today, obviously. So, you know, that it actually is shortable, but it's so flat and so slow right now. It's not really, you know, worth you know, much interest otherwise. All right, let's see what else we got here from YouTube. Got Mitch. Mitch, welcome back. I'm playing around with Mitch right here. He's calling out Plug. Oh, no, I'm actually reading that wrong. So he asked Plug first, and then he corrected himself. He said, sorry, I meant Neo. Neo does look a lot better. Dropping off pretty nicely here heading into the afternoon. I saw Palantir drop off. That's not an EV play, but more of a tech defense play. But we'll check them out. Yeah, they're still dropping off pretty nicely. So you might have some movement here, you know, on some of these stocks down big. I don't know why they weren't on. I guess they weren't down enough on the loser side. Mitch, that it? AMC getting hit. You can see that there. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, Neo, we'll add to our list. PLTR, we will also add to our list. Don't mind if I do. XELA broke 3, Norman. Oh, let's take a look at that. All right, cool. Holy crap, look at that pop. I told you. I mean, it goes one of two ways, I said, right? I mean, so it could be a potential flop, but man, if that breaks 3, that thing could be off and running. So that was pretty fast. Is anybody in the XELA trade right now from Cyber Group? I want you to focus on your trade. I don't want you to be distracted by me, so just do you. But it looks like Ray and William and Jeff B all in the XELA trade right now, probably at least up like 20 cents. This might freeze me up. Actually, I'm going to personally move away from this stock right now just so I don't trip myself up here to end the meeting. But keep going, folks. This looks really strong right now. I mean, it's not going to halt. Order book's too liquid for it to halt, I think, unless if it's a down halt. But I wouldn't really expect that just yet. Jeff in from 302. William, man, you're in from 285. Very nice. And Debbie just got out at 310, though, but she was in from before, so I'm sure that she had a really good profit either way. Very nice. Excellent. All right, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't really see much else. Michael's saying, oh, no, I'm sorry. From Juan, he's saying PBTS. Then Michael. And nah, not much going on here. Workhorse down. It's hard to borrow. It's also a little slow. It's cheaper in relation to NEO, so that does help. But if I'm comparing this to Palantir, it's like I'd rather trade Palantir, I feel. I don't know. How about Wish? I just went back to WKHS. That's nice. That's my trader's dyslexia showing off to you folks there. Wish is pretty choppy. I don't know. The Wish, it's at the lows right now. I was calling for a short roughly from around 1106. Not the time, the price. It seems like the time because it took that long. But essentially this ended up making the move I was looking for. I ended up getting out too soon. I'm going to hold off on this right now. It's too slow. All right, folks, no crypto today, no Bitcoin. I don't know, not really a whole lot going on. And I feel like anytime I say that, probably like right away after it ends up making a big move. So I'm sure we'll check back in tomorrow and we'll see it either make a big 1,000-point pop, 1,000-point drop. We'll find out. But either way, not a whole lot has happened from 24 hours ago on crypto. So didn't really feel the need to show Bitcoin chart. All right, so for all of us in social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. If you've yet to join us live inside our trading room, I'd say feel free to join us. Go right down to the link on the banner below. As early as this afternoon coming up, I'll be doing the afternoon commentary going into the market close. All right, for all of us there, like William and Jeff and Debbie, actually not you folks. I don't want to distract you folks from your trades. For everybody else that's not in the XELA trade, I look forward to speaking with you folks pretty shortly. Just give me a quick couple of seconds or a minute to post and tweet the picks. All right, take care.